SIDS, thankfully, I've not had a single case in my practice. I do know of a friend's grandchild that died of SIDS. But it's happening, and it's happening, I think there's like at least 2,000 cases over a 10-year period that was published. And they call it sudden infant death syndrome because they claim they don't know why it's happening. If we don't know why kids are just suddenly dying in their sleep, a healthy infant just stops breathing and you find them blue and cold and dead. If we don't know why, we can't do anything to prevent it, right? So when you put the syndrome label, it's saying we don't know. Well, we have this chapter in this book because it's time people know. And it's almost that same thing, causation, association, and causation. Well, there are 6 published peer-reviewed studies with data on SIDS and how it's related to timing. And guess what, folks? In one data set, 97%. Now, this one data set I'm quoting is not one of the 6 published. But in this data set, 97% of the SIDS happened in the first week after the vaccine. The other 3% happened in the next week. 0% after that. All the deaths were after the vaccine and none for weeks before the next vaccine. If you look at the 6 published peer-reviewed studies, in totality, 78% of the SIDS happened in the first week after vaccines. 78%. And the data is more impressive in certain studies than others, but that's just your average. So clearly, vaccines are killing infants. They're causing SIDS. They're causing babies to die. The sad thing is the medical establishment and the system, the pathologists who perhaps the doctors who put the diagnosis on the paperwork, or the pathologists who might do an autopsy, they'll never put vaccines as a cause. They put SIDS or sudden unknown death, or they'll use suffocation. And I know you've got some stories about this that are horrifying. Anybody that's planning to vaccinate their baby not only needs to read this whole book, Vax Facts, but needs to read that chapter on SIDS. Because when you're making a choice between, am I going to do this vaccine or not? You've got to put into the equation, this vaccine could kill my baby, because it happens. And you're not being told that. We talk about it in the book, and it's been documented how aluminum, for example, many of these vaccines have aluminum, and aluminum can shut down your breathing center in the brain. Basically, you just stop breathing and oh well, right? Because the brain is so immature. I mean, this is why I think vaccines are so much more dangerous in infants.